Hey guys, I'm here again to make another CNA vlog, and this is my second week in the program, and there's a lot of information. So basically, lately we were just doing book work and stuff from our textbook, and we in our class we just discuss about the topics such as um who works at the healthcare system and who they are. Basically, everyone in the healthcare team basically works together to get the work done, and being a CNA is one of the most important roles in the healthcare team because you are actually one of the people that is always with the patient. You're always getting to know them, you're always on their side. um, and we just talked about like different types of facilities, long-term, subacute, hospitals, and assisted living. And that's basically where I might like I'm trying to aim for a hospital, but I'm not even sure if that is possible right now because I need more experience to do that. And also, we talked about like the OSHA, which is the regulation for improving conditions for people in the healthcare setting, and HIPAA, which is the right of privacy of patients and residents, how to handle their medical records, how things should be given to another place to another about a person's information. It could be written or verbal. Um, Also, we talked about Florence Nightingale. She is a British nurse in some type of war, and she basically introduced the way how cleanliness and the how healthcare should be now, like how patients should be taken care of, like about the sanitation and all that. Um, we just also Yeah, she's a really great person, Florence Nightingale. I read more about her and I just read about her. Uh, we also talked about how to renew your license. Well, it depends on what state you live in. So technically, and also there's this term called reciprocity. It means that your certificate is, as in the name, may be valid for some states, and you just have to do like something extra. You may have to like pass their test, or you have to do like a clinical test, I believe. And then we talked about professionalism and job seeking, like how basically how you come into work, like you dress professionally, how to handle your transportation ahead of time, daycare, like for your kids, um, and all that stuff. Just basically professionalism. You don't want to come to work late because punctual is a very important thing. Also, they talk about how to write your resume, cover letters, and reference list. In this class, we haven't really gotten in depth with this part of the section, but um, we will soon later on. And then how to properly answer interview questions, because sometimes the employer will trick you sometimes, and you must know how to answer them. Basically, answer them positively and with strength, you know, with my previous experience with interviews and stuff. Also, it's really important to have good body hygiene for yourself because you don't want to come in there looking dirty or smelly. That's not nice. And also, you must have a good state of emotional health because I know sometimes it gets really stressful because we have school aside from work, we have families to take care of, we have social problems that go along with our friends. We just have to basically know how, once we walk into that facility or hospital, we just need to know how to put that aside and put your best behavior on, because if you come in with a bad attitude and a mean mugging face, it will show in your work, and the residents will not tolerate that, and they will end up being discouraged, or they might get scared while you're acting mad and stuff. Okay, you also talked about legal and ethical issues like the laws and the criminal laws, the issues that people have, the Bill of Rights of residents and the patient's rights. Um, hold on. And then with this part of the module, we watched a video called Your Mandated Reporter. Basically, the whole video just talked about it is your responsibility to be a mandated reporter if you see an abuse or you heard it from someone, like a patient or resident or a healthcare worker. It is your responsibility to report. Um, the types of abuse, like, I don't know how people could abuse these people. It was just sad watching that video, because I don't know, like, who does that? Like, who would want to abuse an elderly? Like, like, people are people and they need to get taken care of. You don't want to be like beating them up or abusing them. And then there's different kinds of abuse. There's physical, psychological, sexual, respect, elder abuse, and also financial abuse. It's all over the place. Like, financial abuse happens to patients that are not aware of their bank statements, and they let other healthcare workers handle their payments for their bills or any other purchases that they need to make. They let the healthcare workers do that, but for some reason, um, these people tend to abuse their money and they just spend it on their own selves. And I think we talked about Title 22, and I think that's only for California, but I'm not really sure. But you have to check with your state. Basically, Title 22 entitles to minimum standards of patient's care. Um, a, a CNA must work 8 hours in a 2-year period for recertification in California, and then HIPAA, the privacy and confidentiality, and a contact of the ombudsman. It's a requirement that there's an ombudsman. I don't know how to ombudsman, which a person is an advocate who basically people with complaints about healthcare settings, they call them. And it's a required thing that healthcare facilities have these boards that the number of the ombudsmen in the local area must provide their numbers, so just in case of an emergency they could call right away. And then the CNA needs 24 CEUs, which is continuing education units, a year for recertification. You must have those to renew your certification. Uh, and then we also talked about. Sorry if I'm rushing this. I just want to make sure I get all the points that I need to get through. But if you have any questions, just message me or comment. Um, Also, we talked about communication, properly communication with the healthcare team and the patient resident. And there's two types. They're verbal and nonverbal. And nonverbal is at least like 80% of what you do than verbal, because when you show different gestures, you could read them. Like, if you're looking at them like you look mad, then of course they will know you're mad. Like, for what? And it's really important to communicate properly. And there's three parts to communicating, which is a message, a sender, and a receiver. And if one of them is canceled out, then there was no communication involved. Or it's really important, and yeah, and it's really important to be a listener, because if you don't listen and you misinterpret what the other person says and you say it to another person, then you're in big trouble because you might be giving the wrong orders or whatever, like the wrong whatever that they said, you might just misinterpret it. Um, Also, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. We talked about workplace safety, like protecting your body, and this involves the body mechanics, like how to lift patients up, how to basically in anything like in life, you are going to be lifting things, and sometimes it's a burden or they're heavier than you. And this term is called ergonomics, the practice of designing equipment and work tasks to conform the capability of the worker. And there's three things to good body mechanics, which is the ABC, and I think that's a universal um, language, which is alignment, balance, and coordinated movement. And that's basically it. You just have to know how to protect your body. Your back is the most weakest part of your body, which has less muscle. Well, it has muscles, but it's the weakest part. So proper, um, the most muscles that you could use is your thighs and legs. We also talked about the prevention of fires, the types of fires. So there's type A, B, and C. The type A is wood and paper, like anything that could be um, put down by water. Technically, all type A's are could be put down on water by you just using water. Um, B is petroleum or oil products, basically things that are like flammable, like um, gas, cooking oil, and all that stuff, like mechanic oil or whatnot. And then type C, electrical fires, like things like in your cell phone or your plugins for your radio. Like if there's a failure wiring, then you must consider it's a must that you must take them out, because it could cause heat and burn things up. Then we talked about how to extinguish fires. We use this term, well, I think it's universal also, the term pass, which is pull the safety pin out and then aim the hose toward the base of the fire, and then you put it on the base. Squeeze the handle, spray the contents of the fire extinguisher at the base of the fire, sweeping from side to side. So, like this. And then it's really important for the facility and the hospital to have a disaster preparedness plan. And then lastly, for now, we talked about patient safety and restraint alternatives. So, and as we know, like that, we must know how to use restraints properly, because I think if you use restraints not properly, we could cause an abuse. That's also a type of abuse, like restraint abuse. And then there's accidents and incidents that happen at the workplace. Like no workplace is perfect, things will happen, and you just have to know how to report properly. And basically, an accident by the OSHA standard, what they mean by this is unexpected, unintended event that has potential to cause bodily injuries. And then an incident, an occurrence that is considered unusual, undesired, or out of the ordinary, and that disrupts the normal routine for the patient or the resident by healthcare facility or both. Yeah, that's basically, yeah. And then we talked about different types of ways that a patient could be not to, like a person that can't be mobilized, and it's really important to give them assistance when needed. Paraplegia, which is a waist down paralysis, quadriplegia, which is neck down paralysis, and hemiplegia, which is one side of the body or one side of the internal organ paralysis. And a comatose is a totally unable to respond to his environment and will also need your assistance to remain safe. You can also identify that by their nonverbal communication. If you see pain in parts of their body or if you see pain in the face, that means they're not being truthful and you need to help them. And then, as we all said, report immediately for any accident or incident. It's really important because you want to let their head nurse or the supervisor know so they are more aware next time and they could plan something out. And then we also talked about things that decrease when aging, like us humans. And then these are the four. I memorized it by MMME. The first one is muscle strength. The next one is mobility. The next one is metabolism. And the next one is elasticity, which is our skin and our surfaces of our internal organs. Then that's basically it that we've done so far. This is my second week in the program, and I was just really anticipated to make a video today because I've been like so busy. Like this program is like it's just a lot of memorizing and it's just a lot of studying technically and reading. And the book that we're using is this one, Nursing Assistance by a Humanistic Approach to Caregiving by Pamela J. Carter. This is the book. It's the third edition. Then this is the workbook. It got thicker. Workbook. Basically, oh, did you guys know like during that time of when the blackout, I had the, I had class that day for this class and I was supposed to have an exam because I have that class 4:30 to 8 and guess what? The power turned down and then the teacher, well, they had to let us go because we couldn't stay in the building for that long. We couldn't stay there. So we just got dismissed early. And then we were supposed to have a test, and I guess it was postponed. It was pushed back to next Monday, which was this Monday. So technically, we had 3 tests this week, which is I have one today right now at 4:30. I have one today, and so 3 tests in 1 week in this program. I guess it's just a lot of motivation. So yeah, it's just a lot of studying and then there's a lot of writing and a lot of like critical thinking because you have to think logically. And in class we do these scenarios like we read a certain story that involves regarding about a problem in the healthcare setting and we basically have to find the answer to make it better. That's basically it, and it's really fun because we get to conflict on how things should be done properly. Because you may not know, it might happen to when I start working, it might happen to me, and things will just click in properly because we already discussed ways to make that certain scenario better. If you have any questions, just ask. Like, I'm just rushing this. And also, thank goodness the teacher gives us study guides because study guides really help. Sometimes it could be vague, but for some reason his is really good. For example, this one, which is the test I'm having today, which is test 3, communication, those we care for, defense mech, and dementia communication. That's what we're being tested on today. Also, last week we had our finger finger scan or whatever. So it could go through the state, Sacramento, so they could see if we have any criminal backgrounds of any sort. Um, I'm so tired, like, because I'm also taking classes, also different classes. I'm like a full-time student, and I'm doing this program. It's just a lot of work. That's why I think I found time to make a video just now. And I have a class at 12:45, and then I have class at 4:30 today. That's basically it. Like I'm always busy. I'm always doing things, but you know it will be worth it at the end because it's something that I want to do, and now I have to pursue it. For us to be successful students, or successful nurses or whatnot. Yeah, this whole thing experience is a backup for me. So who knows? I might want to go on with nursing, or maybe I would just want to continue with what I was doing, which was criminology. Well, that's about it right now, and thank you so much for my subscribers. You guys are awesome. You guys, thank you for subscribing, and thank you for looking out for me, and thank you for commenting. Like I haven't realized there's a lot of people concerned, like what happened to your journey, like you haven't been making videos. Oh, I'm sorry, but there's a reason why, because yeah, I already said, like I dropped the other times that I was enrolled in the CNA class. So that's about it, and thank you so much to everyone that's looking out and subscribing to me. Well, that's about it. I just woke, as you can see, I just woke up. I'm so oily. Woke up, and I'm going to take a shower and study a little bit and do some more reading. And I'll just catch up with you guys soon. And I'll be commenting to the ones that have commented me, like people that asked me a question. And I think I'm feeling sick. Like my throat was hurting was itchy at one point, like on Monday, and then I'm having runny nose. So I hope it's not like I'm not getting a disease in that classroom. Hopefully. Well, thank you so much, you guys. Okay, bye.